Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Nate Slemp on the line, and he's a CIO over at BTC Strategy and BTC Management. Nate, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so for everybody listening, this is part of our iConnections New York series where we bring you the best of those that participated and attended an iConnections Global Alts that took place in New York City during the Knicks run, Nate. Man, it was legendary. So are you a New Yorker? Are you based out of New York or elsewhere?
Elsewhere, but it was very fun to see the spirit of New York while I was there. That was a blast.
Oh, man, was it not? It was epic. I'm out of Los Angeles, but I was like, well, iConnections brought me here for an experience. That was awesome. Well, let's have some fun here today. So first off, maybe start off by telling us a little bit more about your experience at iConnections and just, have you been in the past? Like, give me some of the backstory.
Sure. So I went to Miami earlier in the year,
but
nice. That was the first event, and both businesses that I run were launched this year. So all pretty new.
Congrats. So what keeps you coming back? I'm curious. A lot of different things you could be doing.
Yeah, well, I thoroughly enjoyed it. On a personal level, it was a lot of fun. And on a professional level, it was great to meet people. And it was fun to basically see where the market is for what I'm trying to do.
So speaking of BTC Strategy, BTC Management, maybe start off by telling us a little bit more about the firms.
Sure. So BTC Management is a hedge fund. It's a private fund that basically copies what I've been doing in Bitcoin. And BTC Strategy is a consulting firm that helps people think through their Bitcoin strategy. And so it just depends on where you're looking for help.
How'd you get into this business? Like, where'd the Bitcoin journey start for you?
Well, it started very early in Bitcoin. 2011 is when I first touched Bitcoin, and
wow.
It's been a long journey. I spent most of my career as a miner in the space and recently sold that operation and have focused exclusively on trying to help people understand what Bitcoin is at this point.
What led you to start doing, helping others with this? I'm curious. A lot of people, maybe they've been successful in a niche or a space. In the industry, they don't always start going to do the strategy side, nor raising money. It sounds like you're accepting investment as well.
Yes, I am. And truthfully, I think Bitcoin is just a very big idea that's incredibly important. And I think more people in the world need to understand what it is. And I feel very drawn to try to do that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Why do you think it's an important idea for humanity and its scope? Tell us a little bit more about the scope and why you think it's so important.
Well, admittedly, I can go into kind of a brief synopsis of my thesis on it if you'd like.
I love it. Go for it, man. I'm in. Break that news over here. That's what we do. That's what we're here for.
All right. So bear with me. But basically, the way I see money is it is the civilizational technology that allows us to scale. Humans have a very distinct differentiator from every other species in that we value scarcity. If we see a shell on the ground, we pick it up because we like it. Serves no other purpose other than we find it interesting, it's kind of scarce, and it's cool. No other species really does that. And what's interesting about that is the basis for the technology of money. And if you don't have money, you're limited to what I would call reciprocal and kin altruism. So without money, you basically do favors for each other or you help your family. And that scales to about 150 people for humans at least. And so without money, we remain a very tribal species. Money allows us to scale beyond that. Without it, that's where we would get stuck. And I would argue that's the reason we're here and Neanderthals aren't. And so it's a really important thing, and money touches everything. Since it's the foundational technology for humanity to scale, it touches everything, and it's a pretty big idea. And another thing going into Bitcoin, if my thesis is true and, money is what makes us human, then the perfection of money is a once-in-a-species event. And that's kind of the argument.
So how does this, I get the part on money, and I'm with you on this, so for sure. But I'm just curious, how does this relate to, so are you arguing that Bitcoin maybe is the perfection of money? I don't want to interject there, or project, I should say. Are you arguing that this is the next thing, or give me the feel of how Bitcoin relates to this, or if it does, I don't know.
Yeah, it is. I view it as basically the final boss of money. And I think, admittedly, most people will hear that and their toes will curl. But that is genuinely the way I see it.
And what are some of the reasons, or give me a reason? I'm sure there's a lot. It's a thesis. It's a full paper that you're writing. What are some of the reasons why you feel that's the case, like some of the supporting evidence that you're proposing?
Well, one of the things that I like most about Bitcoin that I don't think most people realize is that money is what Bitcoin is what everyone says it is. So there is kind of a global consensus representation of what money should be. And this is kind of the first time we've ever had that. Another thing that I think is really important is you can't really have that unless it's a digital format. But the tricky thing with digital formats is that has always required an intermediary. And what Bitcoin's done that's so brilliant is it's linked trust to energy. And a lot of the monies that have succeeded in the past are rooted in energy. And what I think is really interesting from a historical perspective is that every time a civilization has tried to go from an energy nature-based money to a money that humans control, that typically ends up being the downfall of a civilization. And so
oh man, Nate, we're getting into it. When is this paper coming out, man?
Well,
I like to see what I did there. Now I'm putting you on the hook for an end date. If you didn't have one, you're about to.
Well, admittedly, the thesis that I wrote is very academic. You'll probably fall asleep reading it. Don't say that. I have a smart audience. I disagree with you. Go ahead, continue. Well, I spent the last 4 years writing it. It's in its third edition, and it's done. Now, Money Makes Us Human will be more of a narrative, and I'm hoping to complete that within the next year. So amazing. This is great. Well, I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to this, Nate. And when it's done, you're going to have to ping us and make sure that we get that out there for you too, to our audience, because I'm sure they're intrigued as well. Based on you basically warmed us up, gave us a hook, and then say, yeah, maybe in a year or so. No. All right. It's all right, Nate. That's good. That's called a good teaser. Well, that being said, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. How do people follow up? How do they connect? How do they follow your work and learn more? Yeah, absolutely. Admittedly, the fund is private, but the consulting firm is BTC Strategy. The website is BTC-strategy, and I post everything I can write publicly there, and it's a good way to connect. So. Amazing. Well, for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so that you can just click on the links and head right on over, connect with Nate. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. You heard me correct. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So hit that subscribe or follow button. And Nate, thanks again for coming on. Thank you so much.